When I was 14 years old, I had the privilege and opportunity to go climb Mount Everest base camp. It was incredible. We saw so many beautiful views, met amazing people, had amazing celebrations, but also had our tough times. We saw people pass away in front of us, but we also had the best time of our life. Stay tuned till the end and I'll share some photos, and in this video I'll share some of the highlights and also the 3 biggest lessons that I've learned in that experience. I was just a little boy when I still went, and little did I know that Mount Everest was not just one mountain that you climb, it was actually part of the Himalayas, which is so many mountains. And the Himalayas is the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. You just see mountains everywhere with snow, and you see avalanches, you hear avalanches, you see the most amazing views, you see frozen lakes. It is just incredibly beautiful. That brings me to the cool stuff. We saw glaciers, we walked over glaciers, which is basically rocks that's moving below you and around you. We saw the avalanches, heard the avalanches. We met amazing people from different countries with amazing stories and backgrounds, people that have summited Everest so many times. It is just incredible. We met the Sherpas and worked with the Sherpas. They are basically the people that make everything possible. Every ladder on Everest, every little house, every bathroom, everything you see there was carried on the backs of Sherpas, and also the yaks, which is like a cool, I don't know what it is actually, just go Google yak. I also celebrated my 15th birthday on the mountain, which was quite cool. I had this little weird frozen cake, which was not the best, but at least it was part of the cool idea. Then obviously a great part of the journey was when we reached base camp and Kalapathar, which is higher, which you climb just to see amazing views. But at base camp you see all these tents, and there's just this amazing vibe, and the people there, and it's an intense vibe, but it's just so cool. And I mean, it's been months of preparation. It was a 3-week journey to get there, and it's just tough, but it's so rewarding. And that's like anything in life. When something is tough and you reach it through it all, it's just so rewarding. And that was awesome when you can just, you know, hold up your South African flag or your country's flag, and that was just incredible. Then to the tough and bad experiences. We saw people pass away right next to us. I remember this one day when an Indian gentleman passed away just in front of us due to altitude sickness. It's not from the cold, it's from the lack of oxygen. The higher you move, the less oxygen there is. And that was around 3,500 meters above sea level already. We went to just below 6,000. So we were a group of 15 South Africans that went, and part of that group was my father as well. And I remember it was called Chola Pass, and we started hiking or walking or climbing, whatever you want to call it, in the morning at 4, and we finished at 6 in the evening. And as we climbed over Chola Pass, I remember looking down when I was halfway up, and I saw my father still at the bottom, and he was just falling from rock to rock to rock. I went all the way down, but he's quite set in his own ways. And I wanted to carry his bag for him because I was feeling good. He just said, no, go on. But anyway, we all made it, everyone in our group. But we went over the pass, and it was a long journey. We got there and we saw an emergency evacuation. There was a German gentleman that, I don't know exactly what happened, but it was quite bad. And they had to evacuate him immediately with an helicopter. Throughout the journey you also see these boards and these faces everywhere of people that went missing, and that can be when you fall off, it can be when you, I don't know what else can happen, but it is quite intense when you see all these faces and missing people. That was also not the best scenery. Then there was this really tough day for myself. We called it climatizing day, and my lungs were still quite small as a 14-year-old, and getting so high with the lack of oxygen was quite tough. And then every step you take was just like burning in your lungs. And anyway, with climatizing day, I like sort of passed out when we had lunch at the peak of climatizing, but then we went down, and after that my lungs just adapted, and it was quite smoother from there onwards. And something else which was quite weird, so obviously it's very cold, very cold at times, almost all the time, but at times it's really cold. And my dad had a form of frostbite on his toes. I'll consider whether I put that in the end or not, but anyway, he had a bit of frostbite on his toes, and I lost all the skin on my feet, which is not the best scenery, but I think it was part of the cold and the sweat and all the walking and hiking. I don't know what it was, but it was not too great. Then the last point was when we had to go back after everything from the Himalayas, fly back to Nepal's Kathmandu. There was a storm and we were stuck in this tiny little apartment. I don't know what it was, and we were stuck there for, I think it was 16 hours, and I had a heartburn, so that was just not great. I was hungry, I was frustrated, I was tired, we were all tired, and then we were stuck because there was the storm. Anyway, then we took a helicopter. The way the airport is, it's basically, so there's mountains here and then the runway is here. So when you fly, if you fly away, you go down into this valley. There's nothing here, into this valley, and then you pick up over the mountains. And when you fly in, you fly over these mountains and you go upwards, and that's what stops you. So it's quite intense. And with the storms, we decided to go with an army helicopter. And with the helicopter, we went down like an aeroplane, and then we fell, and then, you know, we went up. And that was one of the members in our group was actually a helicopter pilot, and he thought we're not going to make it. So that was quite intense. But anyway, made it back to South Africa. Longer than a 3-week journey. What an experience. Like I said, there was amazing times, there was tough times, but the 3 main lessons that I learned was, the first lesson that I learned was the people around you can determine the outcome of your life. And we had amazing people in our group. You know, they were telling jokes, making everything a bit lighter and motivating each other and just thinking and focusing on the positives. And that helped so much. And we are still friends with a lot of those people in our group. And it's just life-changing friendships because they make the better version of you. Like they say, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So be careful who you spend your time with and look carefully. The second lesson was, there's no going back. I mean, from the beginning, everyone's mindset was just, we're not turning back. We're not giving up no matter what. And, you know, in my mind, I was thinking I'd rather die than give up, because it would just be, it would haunt me my whole life. And I think so many times we give up on things that's really important to us and where we find purpose in. And I do believe, yes, there are ways and times when giving up is an option. And that is probably when things are not part of your journey or your vision or your purpose. But if something is part of your journey and your purpose, giving up should never be an option. So sometimes giving up is an option, but if it's part of a bigger calling and a bigger reason and a bigger purpose, giving up should never be an option. The third and final lesson for this was to just go out and do things. I mean, think of all your good memories or the stories that you are able to tell, whether from just the plain old, or was it actually when there was a bit of adrenaline and you took a bit of a risk. I'm not saying risk your life, I'm just saying get out there and do cool things that you can tell stories, and tell stories even for yourself and feel that you can accomplish things. So look for challenges, whether it's races or whatever it is, you know, triathlons or chess games, whatever it is. Search for challenges and just go for it, because the satisfaction in reaching what you aimed for and what you exercised for and what you planned for is just incredible, and it gives you that bit of confidence and momentum in your life forward. So always consider doing new things. Now, finally, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments and I'll answer all of them. And stay tuned for this, where I'll just share some pictures. Enjoy. Have a great day. If you found this cool, please consider liking and subscribing. Have a great day. Cheers.
The water is cold in the morning. I'm waiting for the sun to come back up. The rain is falling, it's pouring. I'm waiting for the sun to dry it up. It's gonna be an easy day. It's gonna be an easy day. My coffee is standing and waiting. It's time to go suit up. day, all day.